Hi guys, welcome to Little Wicket Railway. I'm Rob and in this video we're taking a look at the classic Tri-ang Dock Authority Shunter. This little locomotive, Tri-ang reference R253, was part of my uncle's model railway collection and it's one of the models that I'm planning on keeping. I've always wanted one of these Dock Authority Shunters in my collection because they're a part of model railway history. They're widely considered to be one of the most popular models ever produced, and that's for two reasons. Firstly, the length of time that they were made for. Introduced in the late 1950s and available in a variety of different liveries all the way through to the late 1970s, although this particular variant with number 3 on it first appeared in the 1960s. And secondly, because they were relatively cheap, costing 32 shillings and sixpence in 1962, which is just over £40 today, and you won't find many new locos available at that price these days, and you definitely won't find one with lighting. That's right, I believe this model even has a headlight. I don't think the Dock Authority Shunter is based on anything that really existed. It's fictitious, but it is the perfect loco to get people into the hobby. This one probably hasn't been run for nearly 30 years, so we'll give it a good service and see if we can get it working. It's also quite grubby after being stored in a loft for decades, so we'll give the body a clean too. Right, let's get to work. Okay, so let's start by taking the body off, and to do that we remove this screw next to the horn. And when I was trying to figure out how to do this, I didn't actually notice this screw, so even though it's kind of fairly obvious once you know it's there, it's hidden in plain sight, and I honestly didn't notice it the first time I was looking for it. I had to consult the service manual. So here we've got the inner workings of the Dock Shunter. First observations are that it does have a light on the front there. It's got that bulb. It's got 2 driven axles, which is pretty cool. It's got a 3-pole motor. We've got some loose wires going on here. I don't know if you can see that very clearly, but I wonder if these are going to cause us any issues. We've got this, or is it just fluff? Just fluff. There we go. Just a bit of fluff. That was an easy fix. I don't know what. That is a bit of wire sticking out. That's a bit of wire sticking out. It's not clear on screen, but those 2 bits of wire sticking out are actually the legs of the bulb, and they're meant to be there. I didn't know it at this point, but the bulb is just held in place with 2 push-fit pins. So as long as those 2 bits of wire aren't touching anything, then it's fine for them to be there. It doesn't actually look in too bad shape. We've got, that's meant to be in there, I think. Yeah, these are pads for the shaft of the motor to rub up against, I guess. The wheels are pretty grubby, so we'll give those a clean. Put some, I've got my lubricating grease here. We'll stick that on either side. But yeah, probably in not too bad a shape. So let's give it a clean and a lubrication and see if we can get it running. I've already got the rolling road here set up with an analog controller. So let's get cleaning. I've got isopropyl alcohol and my trusty cotton buds. Interesting thing about these wheels are that they seem to be like corrugated. I'll need to do a bit of research. It's the first time I've ever seen that. I'm guessing it's to give it some sort of traction. I did do some research and I learnt a new word. Knurled, spelt with a silent K, and knurl means a small projecting knob or ridge, especially in a series around the edge of something. So these are called knurled wheel sets, and apparently they were designed to improve pulling power, especially combined with magnehesion, which is a system where magnets were used to pull the loco onto the steel track. Apparently they're quite noisy, and because of the profile of the wheels with the deep flanges, they're not likely to run well on modern track, but I guess we'll find out later if that's true. Apparently, the newer Dock Authority shunters made in the 1970s were produced with smooth wheels. The pickups on the back on this side, I don't know whether you can see, they should have that little ring on the end. This one's snapped off, so I don't know whether that'll give us some problems with pickups later on. Look at that, pretty filthy. This wiring doesn't look particularly neat, does it? Let's remove the base keeper plate, see what it looks like underneath. I need a different head. Let's go for this one. Oh, that's a bit easier. I think we can remove these now and give them a proper clean. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's get proper cleaning. I have never seen so much dirt come off locomotive wheels. These were absolutely filthy. It's nice that Tri-ang have used all metal gears in these models though. Were they to be manufactured today, then I would expect plastic gears to be used. And I love how easy it is to remove the base keeper plate to access the wheels for servicing. No bearings on this model, but I added a few drops of oil where the axles are held into the chassis before refitting the base keeper plate. Then I added a couple of drops of Labelle 106 grease onto each set of the gears. I gently turned the motor with a pair of tweezers just to make sure everything was moving freely before applying any power, and it was rotating really smoothly. Finally, I added a couple of drops of oil where the ends of the drive shafts meet the pads. Then it was time to put it on the rolling road and turn up the power, and absolutely nothing happened. Not a good sign, no amount of jiggling worked, so I started the fault finding process. First thing I did was to connect the power supply directly to the motor terminals, and that was clearly working. This model is really noisy, but it's actually got a pretty good motor with nice low speed control. So I now knew that the motor worked, but it looked like the bulb wasn't working. I reconnected the power to the rolling road and put the model back on, and this time it did work. And I've no idea why it didn't work first time around, but again, still no bulb. Had it blown? No, because it would illuminate when connected directly to the power supply. It didn't take long to find out what the problem was. This wire had broken off. And having worked out where it needed to be reconnected, I set about doing some dodgy soldering. Back on the rolling road, and both motor and bulb were now working. Whilst this was having a run in, I gave the body a good wash and swapped the rusty couplings for new ones. Then it was just a case of giving it a final tidy up. Unfortunately, some of the printed detail has rubbed off or faded with time, and there's not a lot I can do about that. The black paint on the cab roof is also chipped off in quite a few places, but all of this adds to its authenticity as a 60-year-old model, and hopefully means that my uncle had a lot of fun playing with it. Back on with the body and one final test. I also flicked off the lights to see what the headlight looked like in the dark, and it's actually pretty good. The question is, will it run on Little Wicket? And unfortunately, the answer to that is no, it won't run. The profile of the wheels just don't work with my Code 100 track. I can feel the flanges bouncing over the chairs. It will briefly move if the sides of the wheels are touching the inside of the rails, but it doesn't go very far like that. It's marginally better on curves because there's more chance for a wheel touching the inside of a rail, but again, it still doesn't go very far before stopping. A company called Ultrascale Products do make replacement wheel sets for these dock shunters, but apparently if they're not in stock, then it can take quite a few months for them to become available. I'm happy to leave mine as it is. It'll go in the display cabinet as a piece of family and model railway history. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Special thanks to all my YouTube members and patrons for your support. It's very much appreciated, and your names are up on screen now. That's about it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you again soon.